Okay, so today we're going to be looking into autoblogging, um, basically having your website run itself. And our expert is here to kind of walk us through this whole thing. We're going to be looking at a blog post from Now Technology Systems. It's called Creating an Autoblog in WordPress, a step-by-step guide. And it was published in December of last year.
Autoblogging is really all about automation. So you can have it pulling content from a lot of different sources, articles, blog posts, even videos, all from RSS feeds.
So it's not like you're just copying and pasting. There's actually some tech making this happen.
Yeah, so RSS feeds are like content alerts. When a website you've chosen publishes new stuff, that feed sends out a signal, and then your autoblogging plugin grabs that content.
Okay, so you're choosing what's coming in, but how do you avoid just creating like a content farm?
That's where you need to have a strategy. It's not just about getting any content on your site. You want to make sure it's valuable and that it fits in with your niche. Like imagine you're super busy launching a new product. Autoblogging can keep your site updated with industry news while you're busy working on other stuff.
Oh, that's a great point. So it's more about freeing you up to focus on the important stuff. But doesn't it make your site seem impersonal?
It could if you do it wrong. That's why you still need to add your own voice. Share your thoughts on the auto-published posts. Most importantly, you need to engage with your audience.
So it's still a balance between automation and human stuff. The article we're looking at today actually gives 5 steps to set this up. Let's get into that.
Well, the first step is to choose a plugin. The article specifically mentions WP RSS Aggregator and Feedsy. But there are others out there. You just need to find one that works for you.
I imagine that could be overwhelming if you're just starting out.
I think most of the plugins are pretty user-friendly. Once you've got one you like, just install and activate it.
And that's it.
Well, no. Step 3 is all about the settings. You need to choose your RSS feeds and how often to check them, and decide what kind of content you want to import. It can get pretty detailed.
You can really customize it then.
Absolutely. Then step 4 is about how the content looks.
So like making sure it matches your website.
Exactly. You also need to make sure you're crediting the authors. Copyright laws are pretty strict here in Australia.
Always got to follow the rules. What's the last step?
Step 5 is about monitoring and adjusting. Autoblogging isn't just something you set up and forget about. You got to check it every now and then. Make sure the content is still relevant and that there aren't any duplicates.
Okay, so you still need to be involved. What about best practices? Anything stand out to you from the article?
One thing that I think is really important is quality over quantity. You don't just want to flood your site with anything. Focus on what's really valuable for your audience.
Yeah, I think some people think more content always equals more traffic.
Right, and that's not always the case. You want to curate, not accumulate,
Yeah.
and always credit your sources.
And we were talking about keywords earlier. Let's talk about how autoblogging can help with SEO.
Yeah, SEO is so important, especially in Australia where things are so competitive. But you got to make sure people can actually find your content.
So how do you do that?
Well, search engines are always looking for new content. Autoblogging helps you have a constant stream of that, which can help your search ranking.
So it's not enough to just publish content. It needs to be the right content.
Yeah, you got to think about keywords, meta descriptions, image optimization. All that stuff still applies.
It's like you're making your content work harder.
And that's where knowing about keywords comes in. You want to target the right ones, the words that people are actually searching for.
So it's all about balance, using keywords, but making sure the content is still good.
Exactly. It's working smarter, not harder.
And that's really the big theme here, being efficient and freeing up your time.
Yeah, it's a powerful tool for anyone with a website.
But like any tool, there can be downsides too, right?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we can get into that next time.
For sure. We'll come back and talk about the potential drawbacks of autoblogging and how to avoid them. Okay, so we're back. And we were talking about some of the potential downsides of autoblogging. Like, what about duplicate content? That's not good for SEO, is it?
No, it's definitely not. Search engines don't like it because it's not unique. But a lot of autoblogging plugins actually have features to stop that.
Oh, really? How do they do that?
Well, they might rewrite the titles or excerpts, so everything is different. Or they let you choose just parts of the original article.
So you really need to choose your plugin carefully. But even if the content isn't duplicate, doesn't it still make your website feel kind of robotic?
Yeah, that's a good point. You don't want it to just feel like an aggregator. You got to add your own touch.
How do you do that?
Well, think of autoblogging like a base.
Okay.
You build on that
Okay.
by adding your own comments to the posts, responding to people, talking to them on social media. That makes it feel more human.
So it's like a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, it's not about replacing you. It's about giving you more time, so you can work on other things.
Like coming up with new ideas and stuff.
Exactly.
We talked about legal stuff earlier. What do people need to know about that?
The big one is copyright. Just because something is online doesn't mean you can just use it. Especially in Australia, the laws here are pretty serious.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah, you always need to say where you got the content from.
Yeah.
And link back to the original. Some plugins even let you just use excerpts.
So it's all about being transparent.
Right. You also might want to look into Creative Commons licenses. Sometimes people are okay with you using their stuff, as long as you follow certain rules.
So there's a lot to think about with autoblogging. It seems like it can be really good, but there are some things you gotta watch out for.
It's like any tool. It can be powerful, but you need to know how to use it properly.
And be aware of what could go wrong.
Exactly. The important thing is, autoblogging shouldn't replace you. It should help you.
And make you more efficient.
Right.
It's all about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
But, we've talked about the technical stuff, but I want to see how this actually works in real life.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's see how people are using autoblogging to create really great websites.
Sounds good to me.
We'll be right back. And we'll dive into some real-world autoblogging applications. All right, so we're back. And I'm really excited to see how people are actually using autoblogging. We talked about how it works, but I want to see it in action.
Yeah, let's look at some real-world examples, like niche news aggregators. Let's say you have a website about sustainable living in Australia. You could use autoblogging to pull in all kinds of content about that. News articles, blog posts, even stuff from social media.
So it's like a central hub for all that information.
Exactly.
That would be so useful for people. But wouldn't it be a lot of work to set up?
Not really. Once you've got your plugin and sources set up, it just runs on its own.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So you'd have so much more time to work on other parts of your website.
Exactly. And you're giving search engines what they want. Fresh content all the time.
It's a win-win. What other examples are there?
Well, another one is industry-specific blogs. Like, imagine you're a tech company. You could set up an autoblog to pull in articles from tech publications, even from your competitors.
That's a good way to see what everyone else is doing. But wouldn't you be giving your competitors free advertising?
You're not just copying their content. You're choosing what's relevant and adding your own thoughts to it.
So it's all about context.
Right. It's a way to stay informed and use that information to make better decisions.
That's a really interesting way to think about it.
And autoblogging isn't just for serious stuff. You can use it for entertainment, too, like funny videos or quotes.
Oh, yeah. That could really liven up a website.
Exactly. It's a way to keep things fresh, even when you're busy.
So autoblogging can be used for pretty much anything.
It really depends on what you want to do with it.
But at the end of the day, you still need to be in control, right?
Absolutely. Autoblogging is a tool. It's not a replacement for you.
You still need to make sure everything is good.
Yeah, quality and relevance are still important. And you don't want to lose that personal touch.
It's all about balance, automation, and human connection.
Well said.
This has been a really interesting look at autoblogging. We've learned a lot.
It's been fun.
And hopefully our listeners are ready to try it out for themselves.
Yeah, go out there and experiment.
Autoblogging can be a really great tool. Just remember to use it wisely.
And ethically.
That's a great point. So that wraps up our deep dive into autoblogging. Thanks for listening, everyone, and keep that content flowing.